What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and we're talking Oscars. Once again, this is Best Supporting Actress. My current predictions for Best Supporting Actress. It's a doozy, and you can watch the other people and you'll see that I'm not copying their predictions. So shout out to people like the Oscar Expert. I watch their channel. I watch the awards contender, and who else does it for your consideration, people like that. So yeah, I'm aware of. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, oh my god, he's copying their predictions, look at this, it's the same five people. Nope, swinging for the fences on some of these. So we're gonna build five, and right off the bat I want to strike a hot match to get your attention that I am unlike everybody else. So occasionally we get these nominations that are kind of out of the blue and they ride along with the strength of a movie. There's one movie this season that seems very strong, and it has an actress who's previously been nominated but hasn't been in a minute. And I've seen her name mentioned, but not in a way that makes it seem like she's in any sort of serious contention. And I kind of wonder if she can't just be the kind of a head scratcher nomination where people go, huh, but the film overclocks. So I'm actually going to put Emily Watson in for Hamnet. Yeah, sight unseen. I haven't seen Hamnet. Watson is a previous nominee. Hamnet is absolutely going to get nominated Best Picture, Best Actress, most likely Director and Supporting Actor, as well as adapted screenplay. It makes a solid choice for, costume design, production design. It could easily get into score, could easily get into cinematography and editing. So it's one of those films that just feels like this could be one of the big nominees of the year. And could Emily Watson, in a really weird supporting actress race, by the way. This is not there's no clear frontrunner. There isn't like a lock for five. People are trying to throw in like 3-1 battle after another actresses into their predictions. It's a very weird year. So with all of that, I kind of wonder if Hamnet isn't strong enough to just bring her along, like whether people think or not. Last year, we had this conversation about Pamela Anderson for Best Actress, and then lo and behold, who comes along with Jamie Lee Curtis, who actually ended up getting some nominations and ended up sort of trending in the might they get a supporting actress nomination. And that was for a film that was only really going to ever maybe get Best Actress. But Jamie Lee Curtis managed like a SAG nomination out of it and something else. She was nominated somewhere else too. And it's kind of crazy when you look at it that way. So, uh, I think Emily Watson. If I'm going to swing for the fences on any prediction, it's going to be Emily Watson for Hamnet. No one else is doing it, and they're certainly not starting off their list with Emily Watson. The other one I want to go with is somebody who I predicted the last time, so they're staying on my list. It's Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value. I just think Elle's been around long enough doing things. It seems like the right movie. It seems like a movie that's also going to get a lot of nominations. There is a second supporting actress here. And it's possible they could go for her, but I think Elle, she was in a complete unknown last year, and she shared accolades with Monica Barbaro. Like some places Elle was nominated, other places Monica was nominated. It ended up being Monica. I don't know that's going to happen to Elle 2 years in a row. It might. I mean, Danielle Detweiler continues to not be nominated, even though she clearly should have been by now. So maybe they end up picking the other sentimental value actress, but I don't think the supporting actress category walks away with no nominations from sentimental value. So Elle Fanning makes the most sense to me right now. So she's my number two. My number three in the category is a little bit of a swing, a little bit of a new thing. She's in another movie this year too. She's also in Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere, which I think is going to help that people see her in two things. I'm going to go with Odessa Zion from Marty Supreme, because I think Marty Supreme is going to pick up another nomination, and I don't see it doing it in actress or supporting actor. Um, and if Chalamet, I don't think Chalamet is the only nomination from Marty Supreme, and have not heard too many glowing things about Gwyneth Paltrow. I've heard some people being surprised by Odessa Zion. I think she could be this year's Monica Barbaro, the young ingenue actress that they're investing in for the future. who doesn't necessarily have the massive body of work to move forward, but they're going to go with her anyway. So I'm going to go with Odessa Zion for Marty Supreme. Um, Now we're going to talk about One Battle After Another, because people are all over the place with this. Uh, most people agree that Regina Hall would be like not the most obvious choice for first if there was one nomination. So that leaves me with Tiana Taylor versus Chase Infinity. I think Chase is really new. There's also a debate about maybe lead actress for Chase. I've seen that floated, even though just because they're sort of like the core and the center of the movie. I think it's harder for young actresses to be nominated. And this being sort of like her debut, I'm not 100% sure she's going to break through. Tiana has been around for a little bit, and while not necessarily as much as some other actresses, she's a little like Davine Joy Randolph with The Holdovers. Like, not a huge resume behind her, but she does have 1,000 words. Not 1,000 words, that's the Eddie Murphy movie. 1001 from a couple of years ago. And which she picked up some accolades for. And I think Tiana Taylor is going to be the one for One Battle. I think some people are just basking too much in the glory of One Battle After Another right now, and they can't separate themselves from that. So that's why you see the people who are like 2 and 3 nominations, is that they can't see the forest through the trees right now. Yes, I'm accusing all of you who are trying to put 2 or 3 people from One Battle. It is not making that much at the box office. Come January, February, after we've seen all of the other films, it will have balanced out, and one of the actresses will get in, not all of them. Probably the same thing with Sentimental Value, which hasn't opened yet and has a better shot of getting 2 actresses in based on that. But it is also an international film, which is why I've tempered my expectations and only put 1 actress in. So there you go. Final spot. So I'm not picking Emily Blunt. I think Smashing Machine is just a play for Dwayne Johnson at this point. She's sort of like the Jamie Lee Curtis. So I think she'll get somewhere. She'll get a nomination somewhere. Some of these categories have 6 nominations, so she'll get in somewhere, and then that'll keep her in the conversation. She's not going to get the nomination. She's already been nominated. Smashing Machine did not do that much money. I don't think that that's a barrier for Dwayne, as The Apprentice bombed at the box office. So it ended up getting 2 acting nominations last year, and it made no money. So, and that was from Briarcliff, not A24. A24 is better at campaigning. I think Dwayne is still fine. I did put him in my actor predictions. So I'm leaving Emily Blunt out. I know that you're wondering, is this 5th one Ariana Grande? No, it's not. Because I don't want to just directly predict that it's repeating all the same nominations. And I put Cynthia in finally after sort of seeing how the actress race was laying out. My problem with Ariana is that I've seen Wicked, and they're boosting her with original content, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to play out well for her, because if fans don't react the same way to Wicked for Good with the new content, which sometimes Broadway fans are resistant to new content. It's been a hot minute since we've ever like fully embraced something. I would say that was with Dreamgirls, with Listen and Patience, which ended up being put into the musical. I'm not sure. I can't think of another example where the song was in the movie and then they actually transitioned it from the movie to the stage show. I don't think that's happened otherwise. But Dreamgirls, now if you license it with Listen and Patience. So Listen would be the last time a new song for an existing show really struck like a chord. So writing new songs for Wicked is very trepidatious, and Glinda does not have quite the huge arc in the stage show that she does in the first act. She just doesn't. She's not the lead, which is why she runs as supporting actress. She does have stuff. I'm not saying she's completely out of the question, but sight unseen, I need to know what Ariana is doing. I need to know what they've given her, what her new song is, if her new song is ass, like the new songs that they wrote for like Dear Evan Hansen. You know, sometimes, best laid plans. But I'm concerned about her being sort of the focus for the new material, which is what she is. So I'm not putting her in my top 5. as well as like every other actress that you could possibly think of right now. So I don't know. I could go through a whole bunch of people who are just not getting nominated. Ayo Edebiri for After the Hunt, who I thought was going to because she's a little bit of a critical darling on The Bear, but she, of all the people, and After the Hunt, she's getting the least amount of praise uh, by far. So it's not going to happen for her if After the Hunt ever happens. It doesn't seem like some of these films even really have supporting actresses being mentioned or floated. We have a couple international nominees other than Sentimental Value that don't seem to really have that. It looked like, I mean, maybe Sinners, but I also think it would be weird if Sinners' only acting nomination was supporting actress and not predicting it anywhere else. So I don't think that's going to happen. Could you imagine if Haley Steinfeld was the only acting nomination for Sinners? People would lose their mind. Like, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to go down a path that I would have laughed at people for a long time ago, but I think it's funny and I'm going to do it anyway. So the Oscars seem to love to nominate a certain person over and over and over and never give them an award. And recently, this person was nominated for Hillbilly Elegy and also nominated a Razzie at the same time. I'm going to go close for Wake Up Dead Man, which is being given sort of the last bow spot for Netflix. And I think this is going to get a campaign. It was well received at TIFF. I know a lot of people have talked about Josh O'Connor, but all the mentions for Glenn Close have been solid. They've all been like, she has a really great scene. She has a really great scene. She has a really. I think that's all she needs. I think people just vote for Glenn Close. I think Glenn Close has fans. I think people will just keep voting for her until she wins an Oscar. She's sort of like the Diane Warren of acting. And in a very weak actress race, I think Glenn Close has a shot. Whereas with previous entries, I didn't think they did. You know, I wasn't really on board with Glass Onion nominations. I didn't feel like that movie was that strong. But you put Glenn Close in the mix, and it's like, yeah, maybe. Maybe she's also in the Summer Book, which is Music Box, and they're going to send that out. And if a couple people see the Summer Book, then they're reminded that Glenn Close did another film this year that she was good in. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. So for right now, I'm going to try to beat to a different drum and go with that. So recapping, I've got Emily Watson, Elle Fanning, Odessa Zion, um, Tiana Taylor, and Glenn Close. Those are my 5, which could change and most likely will change. But I'm holding Ariana Grande out right now. She would be my 6th place because I'm not saying it's a no. I'm just concerned about her new content. I think from everything that I've heard, it seems to be mostly to boost her and not so much Elphaba, who has a ton of stuff to do already in Act 2. She has plenty of songs. She has As Long as You're Mine, No Good Deed, For Good. She's stacked. She's good in the second act of the film. She didn't need it. What does Glinda sing in the second act? She just sings For Good. So, well, and the finale. But she doesn't have solo. She doesn't have popular this time around. So, void of popular, we'll find out what that song is. What her new second act popular is. Is it going to be good? I'd like it to be. I'd like to be able to say Ariana Grande. I don't know who I would take out. We'll see how their campaigns move around. But I think I may stick with the Emily Watson thing as being a sleeper pick. I think until I see Hamnet and I'm like convinced like there's not a shot in hell. I think she's the overperformer nomination. I think she's the one where it's like, oh my God, that film even got Emily Watson in. Jesus, okay. Well, I don't think she needed the nomination, but sure. So this is the weakest category, the one that's going to shake up the most, I think, over the course of the season, with the least amount of obvious nominees, with the most sort of like unassuredness to it. So it'll be fun to keep shuffling people around. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys next week with Supporting Actor.